is it worth it moving abroad? Let's talk about what it's really like living abroad as an American and the questions I get asked all the time while I get ready. Because I recently had a vlog that was showcasing just a tiny glimpse into what it's like being American living abroad, and it really popped off. So I decided to have a little FaceTime with you guys, getting down to the nitty-gritty of what it's really like being here, why we're here, and so much more. So let's get into it. One of the questions I get asked all the time is why we're in Germany in the first place. Long story short, we're here because my husband's job moved us here. Because unfortunately, we would not have had the means to move here by ourselves. Say another question I get asked all the time is how long have we been here and if we plan on staying. We moved here December 28th of 2024, so we've been here a little over a year now. And unfortunately, because of my husband's job, us being in Germany is not permanent. So we'll probably be here until like the middle of 2027 maybe, if not a little bit earlier or a little bit later. And after that, I have no idea if we're going back to the US or if we're moving to another country. So if you ask me about a 5-year plan, baby, I don't know, okay? I don't even have a year plan because I don't know where we'll be. I also get this quite a lot, mainly from my US people, but it's, do I ever miss the US? And that is currently not an easy answer for me. I will say yes and no. Honestly, the main thing I miss about the US is my friends and family. Like, part of living abroad, especially if your family is in a country far, far away, is that you're gonna miss out on a lot of milestones. So like my brothers and everything, I have a lot of younger brothers, I have a nephew, and I'm missing out on a lot that's going on back home because we can't just afford or have the time to just hop on a plane and go home. And I'd say like the only other thing I miss about the US is kind of the comfort, because it's what I know and it's where I call home. Like, I know what to expect when I'm there, I know the social cues, I know the language, so it's just things like that. And you know, I miss Chick-fil-A, I miss my favorite coffee shops back home, but that honestly is about all that I miss from the US right now. So outside of those few things, with friends and family being the biggest one, I really don't miss the US right now. And honestly, living in Germany, I have found a calmness and I have felt safe being here. And that is something that the US doesn't really provide right now. Another big thing is, what is the cost of living like here compared to the US? Which is something I talk about with my friends and family all the time. But it is incredibly more affordable here. Like rent, groceries, travel, it is way more attainable, way more accessible. It's insane. Like, I'm currently living in the biggest house I've ever lived in, and I am paying less than I did for my 1-bedroom apartment back home. I can get like a 10-pack of toilet paper for less than $5, which normally in the US, like, that can be anywhere from $15, $20, if not $30. I love how I can finally afford to buy vitamins every month, because back in the US, I couldn't afford that because normally a thing of vitamins is $20+ dollars. I love how I can get organic, fresh, farm-to-table food here for affordable prices. Like, I'm already dreading moving back to the US with the cost of living there, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to afford the lifestyle that I have now since moving here when I go back, which really makes me sad. So I'm hoping that that will change. But since living in Germany, like, the quality of food, the quality of life, been so great for me, and achieving that back home is gonna be a lot harder. Did I have any culture shocks? Yes. I had never been to Germany before moving here, so I didn't know exactly what to expect. Like, I had been to Europe before, but never here, so I wasn't shocked to see that you had to pay for restrooms. And I also knew about like the smoking culture here. However, I still giggle when I see a cigarette vending machine, because that is just not something you would see in the US at all. And so I thought that was funny, and that was a little bit of a culture shock. Not the smoking part, like I knew that was a thing, but how accessible they are here, and how like you can go to the grocery store and buy a giant tub of cigarettes. You don't see that in the US. I also didn't know about like the quiet time on Sundays and how it is extremely frowned upon. If not, I don't know exactly if it's illegal or if you can get fined, but if you try to cut your grass or something on a Sunday, your neighbors are going to be very upset. And pretty much, at least where I live, pretty much everything is closed on Sundays as well. And speaking of closed, I didn't know how often things would be closed when I moved here, which I love that for the employees, like how there's just such a work-life balance here. I also didn't know how big cycling was here. here. So there's constantly just people on the side of the road cycling. Even if it's terrible weather, they're gonna be outside and they're gonna be active, which I really appreciate that, and they really motivate me to be more active. I'd say one of the biggest things though that was very overwhelming for me at first when moving here and took me a while to comprehend and get used to was the trash system and the fawn system. Oh my gosh, you know, in the US, they recycle, but not really. And you just have like one big trash can and one big recycling can and you throw it all together. But here you have like, I'm being dramatic, 20 different trash cans. I'm just joking. It's like, so there's a yellow trash bin, you have a compost bin, you have your rubbish bin, you have your paper bin. So you have at least 4 bins at your house. And then you take your glass to a separate place to recycle, and you have to recycle the glass by color. But not only that, you have to always check your cans, plastics, and glass to make sure that it's not a fond, because then you can take it to your grocery store, local drink store, and get money back for that. So I have never thought about my trash as much as I do now. I also love how you can pretty much just walk around anywhere here as long as there's not like a huge sign saying no trespassing or do not enter, which I'm not used to because being in the US, like everything is private property, everything is non-walkable. So just being able to walk around some random field, like that's completely okay here. Okay, last thing for this question. I promise I'm gonna move on. But another thing that was kind of a culture shock, but again, I love it, is like you can just be driving down the road and all of a sudden there's just a pull-off area with a picnic table where you can take a phone call, have a little picnic, just like get out of your car for a minute and enjoy the scenery. I love that so much. That is not a thing in the US, at least where I've been, but there's just so many picnic tables everywhere to just pull over and chill out for a minute. Imagine just being able to chill out on the side of the road. No, not in the US. Heck no. You gotta be at work. There are honestly so many questions I get asked all the time. And I would say one of the last questions I get, at least for today, was, is it worth it moving abroad? The short answer, absolutely 100% yes. It has not been easy by a long shot. And honestly, the first year here, it was incredibly challenging and incredibly lonely for me, but it gets better. And I'm honestly just grateful for the opportunity to experience a new culture and experience a new place, even if it's just for a little while. And not only that, but I am going to be able to explore more than I ever could have dreamed of living in the US. Honestly, moving abroad, living abroad, again, even if it's just for a small amount of time, it is such a pivotal moment in your life, and it'll make you question everything. It'll make you question yourself. It'll open your mind and so much more. If you ever get the opportunity to live abroad, do it. I was incredibly nervous about moving here in the beginning, but now I see life in a whole new perspective. I am so fortunate now to never have to think of what if we wouldn't have moved here. So yes, 1000% it is worth it. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for getting ready with me, and I hope that answered some of the questions you had, a little bit more perspective as into why I'm even in Germany in the first place. But definitely stay tuned, and if you haven't already, maybe hit that subscribe button, because I am going to Sweden next week, and after that I'm going straight to Venice, and you best believe I'm going to be vlogging that and sharing that with you guys in the next couple weeks. And like I said, we have some epic trips planned this year. Josh went above and beyond, and I'm so grateful for that, and I will be sharing it with you guys. So I love you, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye!